Hey teammates, happy Tuesday and welcome back to Teaching with Tenia. I am back on my Tuesday upload schedule. I know my schedule got a little hectic as I've been planning for the Black History Month and having to do a lot of things at school, but hello, I'm back and happy 1,000 subscribers. So in order to celebrate, I decided it was long overdue for a question and answer. So I asked you guys on my community tab and in the comments down below in previous videos to ask away the questions that you would like answered. So today in this video, Tenia Tuesday, I'm going to answer them for you today. Okay, so huge shout outs to J Rose 1989 who commented, can I talk about testing or share my experience with testing as a teacher? Of course I'll share my experience. I feel like I hate testing as a teacher. I understand that we have to have a certain level of rigor and they want knowledge for teachers to be able to have, but I also think it takes more than being able to answer questions on a quiz correctly or a test, whether it's Praxis, Pect, whatever your state may have you do for testing as a teacher to make sure you're approved or qualified. And my experience has been pretty tough, especially because I was not the best test taker and I just wanted to be a teacher, so I continued to study my butt off. Also, I know in some colleges, if you have high enough GPA, you can be exempt from taking the test. If you have not checked out my How to Pass the Praxis video, be sure to check that out. And then also other teaching tests that I took along the way to get to the point, be sure to check out those videos because I also go really into depth. But I can basically just share like how the modules, like you said, can be intimidating because there's so many different pieces. Not only do you have to know the content like math, ELA, English for your education major, you also have to know how to apply or teach those things, different methods for if students get this answer wrong, if you're teaching math or you have to take the math Praxis exam. Okay, the student got this answer wrong and be able to tell them why or what strategies to use best. But also you have to know childhood development and developmental stages and theories and educational stages and theories as a child grows up. So it's a lot of stuff you have to know. The best advice I can give here is there are a bunch of practice tests online, so look up the one for your specific state. PSAT is after you have learned everything through your education courses. Basically P1 and P2, Praxis 1 and Praxis 2 are just content knowledge you should have, to be honest, learned through high school, like algebra. I know every high school and schooling is different, but basically stuff that you should already know once you graduate high school. And then once you have to take your Praxis 2 and your PSAT is more like statewide tests that you should know as a teacher. And for that, I, to be honest, looked back at all the notes that I've ever taken in all my classes through educational psychology. There are also multiple sections through that, and especially my methods class for classroom management and how to deal with behaviors in educational psychology. I think I have my psych book. Oh yes, let me show you. Okay, so this is actually my educational psychology book. If you DM me on Instagram, I don't mind giving this to you as well because this is my favorite class, to be honest. I'm a huge nerd, even though like I like to play sports and stuff like that. I'm a huge nerd and I love to learn about the theories and why they are the way they are. The constructivist theory, constructivism approaches, like it literally gives you everything. And I remember similar questions to that on the test, early childhood development, the process of writing, the process of reading, how math is articulated, even it says learning and cognitive content areas. It just goes over so much of how like our brain processes and principles of classroom arrangement and like the science behind what we do. I know the modules can be very overwhelming, but after I'm not sure if you're in the teacher prep program or what, but to sum up this answer, take a deep breath. The only thing to do is just do it. And once, I think on the Praxis they tell you, or the PSAC, they tell you, okay, these are the questions you got wrong in what specific domains, whether it's early childhood interventions, program development, or the actual scientific psychology stuff behind it, or is it the method stuff you're doing? I know they can be expensive. Well, the Praxis is more expensive than the PSAT, but either way, you're costing money to take these tests and you want to pass them. So if you don't have a study book, then I suggest that you get a study book that has the exact modules and the exact number. I know some of the numbers, I even think they changed some of the numbers for the testing, or it depends on what state you are if the tests are different or the numbers are different, but they're basically the same test, different numbers. I feel like, don't quote me on that because I might just be saying that. Take the test, whatever you C or whatever they give you to say, hey, these are the things you didn't practice, and then you can have like that conversation. I'd love to like study with you and things like that. Okay, so that was that question. Sorry, that was a really long, drawn-out answer, but the next question is, what state do I teach in? So I will tell you the state, not the county or district or whatever, but basically I teach in Maryland. So for those guys who don't not know, I was actually questioning God on this because I'm not from Pennsylvania where I went to school, or Maryland, but God has brought me here to this place and I'm super excited. The next question is, did I move states for my teaching position? I did go ahead and move states because I went to school in Pennsylvania, thank God, and it would have like reciprocity to the state that I'm in now. And I'm so glad because I think it's only a few states that actually say, yes, you can just transfer without having to take any additional tests or that honor that reciprocity rule. I know other states, like if I had got my certificate in Maryland, my teaching license, I would have had to do a bunch of extra hurdles and things to be able to teach in like another state like Virginia, DC. Well, DC's not a state, but you know what I mean. Anywhere else, I would have to do a bunch of extra stuff because they don't have that reciprocity rule. And also because there's a lot of teacher prep programs here in Maryland that they don't think like you're certified, or it's just different ways to get certified as a teacher. What is the most challenging thing about teaching? I'm sure you guys already know this answer, but I like to talk about the positives and negatives on my channel. And I feel like the most challenging part is fighting a system or a battle that you know you're not going to win. Yes, we can pray to fix it. It takes more than one teacher. It takes more than one school system. It takes so many layers to the education system and how we even got here that it's not impossible, but it's pretty near impossible. And it's going to take the grace of God or a really hard reset to fix generational curses or generational things that have happened. I feel like as a teacher, like we kind of lose sight of, yes, these are children, but these children grow up whether they have the skills or not, and they have to be able to navigate life. I just posted this thing on my stories on Instagram, like there's no structure to this adulthood thing. It's like when you literally think that everybody knows what they're doing, but everybody's, to be honest, just winging it. And unfortunately that showed itself in the education system with people having these great ideas but not being effectively carried out or even checked back on, like, okay, you had this great idea, or a district may have this great idea for a literacy initiative or math initiative, but how are you checking that? How are you make sure students are actually doing to fidelity, or teachers are doing to fidelity what you've said or what you think was going to happen, if that makes sense? So I think it's really hard to stay positive, especially when you know that you can do all you can as a teacher, but it just takes one teacher or one system or the next grade, if that student moves out, is to like basically not negate all your hard work, but it's like, because at the end of the day, I have this quote on my desk. My partner teacher gave it to me. It's so cute. The influence of a teacher cannot be erased. I love it. Hopefully you guys can see it. It's like a makeup tutorial. But yeah, I love that because, to be honest, it doesn't matter what happens. It's just, it's hard to plant those seeds and then they move away, or they go to the next grade level and the teacher has a different philosophy or doesn't continue the hard work that you were able to do because they have a different teaching philosophy, and that's just out of your control. So that's really challenging to know that there are a lot of things in education out of our control. So what I focus on are the things I could control, the things that are positive, and know that God has called me in a time such as this. Like that scripture just grounds me. I'll probably have Ian put that across the screen. Like, it's amazing. Okay, I'm gonna sum this up. This is like a mini Q&A, but do I plan to teach when I finish my current degree? For most of you guys probably already know that I am getting my master's right now, and it has been very challenging, especially full-time teacher, full-time grad student, wild, but I graduate soon, so that is exciting. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. To answer your question, I don't know. It's really all God's plan. I would love to continue to teach, and I'm going to regret or like dread the day that I have to leave the classroom, because as most of you guys got into teaching because of the students, not because of the adults in the situation or your coworkers. But the plan is to continue to teach. I want to get as much experience as I can. What that may look like in the future, even next year, even 6 months from now. Who knows what God has in store, and I'm trying to lean and trust in his plan and know that there's so many ways to teach out there, and I want to like experience all of them. Like there's Montessori, there's charter, there's public, there's private. I'm certified pre-K through 4th grade in like a public school, but then if I want to go private, teach at a Christian school. There's also Montessori schools, charter schools. I feel like going back to what I said earlier, the Great Reset in education, to be honest, I think that is COVID and parents realizing, oh snap, the promise of the American education system is not really doing my child justice. So they're finding other ways and better ways to help their child. To be honest, is every child is different, every need is different. So I feel like there are other schools out there for parents and teachers to find what best fits them, whether to teach at or to stand on philosophy behind. So I'm glad I'm getting all these experiences that I really don't take for granted. I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to teach my third graders, to be in a system that I am at. And I have learned like also gratitude switches your mind. Like you can't be ungrateful and mad at your situation at the same time. Like you have to choose, just like I tell my students, choose to be great, choose to have a great attitude, choose to thrive in the situation that you're in, no matter what that may look like or who may agree, who may disagree. At the end of the day, it is just about the students, and you focus on what you can control. And changing my mindset from not I have to go to work, but I get to go to work, and creating fun lessons and seeing the progress is what keeps me here. So the future may holds, I do not know. But comment down below how you got your teaching license. I would love to talk about that, or even the test that you had to take to get to where you are now, if you're a teacher or if you're in a teacher prep program. I am so glad to see you guys, new faces, a lot of new subscribers coming to my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for following along on this little corner of the internet, teaching with Tenia, and I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye. Peace.